What is going on, everybody? I am the original gamer, StevieStrow, and what are we looking at here today? Well, we are looking at a classic game from 1981 for the Atari 2600. This was the home version of Asteroids and all of its multicolored glory. So why don't we go ahead and fire this puppy up? So, much like the arcade version of Asteroids, you are a spaceship. Oh, and there's my Inviso warp. I forgot how to do that, right? So you use your joystick, you turn around, you can spin 360 degrees, and you need to shoot all the asteroids on the screen without getting hit by an asteroid. Alright, so what are we waiting for here? Move, sucker! Oh, that was close. And so, there's the UFO. Very cool. Die, UFO. So the difference between the home asteroids and the arcade asteroids are not so subtle, right? So the original Asteroids in the arcade was completely black and white, and it was done using what were known as vector graphics, which are basically lines, you know, just kind of drawn out lines on the screen. So the arcade version had much higher resolution. Oh, UFO crashed into me. So arcade had much higher resolution, but it lacked any form of color. So the home version for Atari, they're using just, you know, sprites. They're just using 2D objects on the screen. I can't move. Oh, and my game is over. But the nice thing that the Atari version did was they added color, which was a very cool feature, right? So Asteroids was a cool game. Came out in 1978, I believe. You know, one of the earliest American home, American arcade games, and it was a sign of the time. So the fact that we now have Asteroids in color, very cool feature. Incredibly popular game, right? So Atari in the 80s was a household name, not only because of the games they made in the arcade, but because of this Atari home game system. It was originally called the VCS, Video Computer System, later was named the Atari 2600. And there were many models of the Atari that would follow: 2600, 5200, 7800. There was the Atari home computers, the Atari 400, Atari 800. Atari was a name that for a long time was almost synonymous with just kind of electronic excellence. You know, Atari was a well-known, well-respected company, made good games in the arcades, made a really good game system in 1978, which we're looking at here. Now, what ultimately would happen with Atari is that I think, and I don't know if it was the company itself, the industry, or whatever the case may be, but at some point in time, a little lack of quality control was put into things that were getting released for the Atari system. And so just about anybody could make a game, and just about anybody did make a game. And so two things happen. A little bit of oversaturation, where you just have too much product to choose from, and then kind of inconsistent quality, where some of the stuff that was released by other companies, well, quite frankly, just wasn't that good of a game. And I think that hurt the reputation, or at least kind of hurt public perception of, you know, how do we know what to trust now? How do we know what to buy? And I think the most infamous game that is part of that story was the game E.T. You know, it is known as what people call the worst video game in history. I mean, I have the game. I'm going to play it. I'm sure it's not terrible, but I think the problem is that, you know, I mean, I've read some interviews on the web, and then there's a couple documentaries. There was a time when these games were being made where one person had to make them, and they're usually not given enough time. They're given a deadline where this thing has to be ready and on the shelves at this point in time. And so one of two things happen: you lose features, or you don't have time to really get all the bugs out, or a little bit of all the above. And so the E.T. game was the game that kind of toppled the empire of Atari. I think they lost a lot of credibility because they released that themselves. You know, you can't blame third parties for making crap when you put out your own crap, you know. So it's kind of an unfortunate sign of the times that because they were so popular, that I think that popularity became the undoing of video games. But this one here Asteroids was released at a time in the golden age of Atari 2600 games, when they were as good as they could be. They were fun. You know, this was the calm before the storm, before things went crazy. This was a fun game, though. I'm doing really bad at it, as you can see here, right? So, it'd be nice if I could clear more than one level here. It's just a fun game, right? So you move up on the stick to thrust, left and right is to rotate, and then the down key will warp you somewhere randomly. Or down key, if you pull down on the stick, that's a teleport, right? Come here, sucker. One thing I don't like, though, is that they don't put a lot of logic into spawning a new field of asteroids. You're just kind of there, and, you know, maybe you'll get hit, maybe you won't. I think the arcade game actually waits for the asteroids to kind of fan out and find a safe spot for you to spawn in. This one just says, screw it, you're there and you may get hit. And that's fine. So, all part of the appeal of the game. I love the way this looks on my computer screen too. For whatever reason, my analog capture device is making this look very much like an RGB monitor. And for whatever reason, it's not flickering as much as it did. Maybe because it's not on a CRT. Some of these Atari games were notorious for just really bad flickering of the sprites on the screen. So, not getting a lot of flicker here, but I do have a nice retro look to how these things look. It does look a lot like it's got scan lines and stuff in it, how it's getting captured. Also, just for the record, this is not running on an actual Atari 2600. This is actually running on my ColecoVision expansion module that lets you play Atari games. Wow, see, the UFO just got pummeled by those asteroids. Oh, I guess that means I got a free man, possibly? Okay, I'm doing better. 51,000 points. Not bad, not bad. Fun little game, you know, just fly around and shoot asteroids. And you do it for as long as you can. You will eventually die. There is no ending to the game. This was classic of the 80s style game. You played forever, or as long as you could. The game went on forever. Game just got more increasingly difficult. You know, in the arcade, they're trying to make money. They're trying to get you to pop quarters into that machine. So, hello, sucker. Wow, I'm on a roll right now. Man, this UFO is all over the place too. So yeah, I would have to say that this one is a good one. You know, they did a really good job making asteroids. Let's see, now this one is waiting for me. This one is waiting for me. Okay. Waiting for me to die. All right. So they did a good job making the home version of this game. It captured the essence of the arcade. In some ways, you could say it was an improvement with the addition of color. Okay, so anyways, I'm dead. 88,370 points. Not bad. Not bad at all. I'll take that. Fun little game, though. This came out in 1981. And, you know, this was Asteroids for the Atari 2600, as played on my ColecoVision with the Atari expansion module. But cool stuff, very, very cool stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, then do me a favor and give it a like. Give it a big fat thumbs up. And while you're at it, why don't you throw out a comment? Tell me what you thought about this game and other Atari classics. If you're new to the channel, then please subscribe. Also, I'd love it if you could share this video and share my channel with your friends. I have been the original gamer, StevieStrow. Until next time, keep on gaming, people. Be a retro person. Retro forever. Gaming forever. Party on. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace out and bye-bye, everybody.